Our next story is from Gaza. It is facing famine. That's well known. But what is shocking is that while the entire world can see it, also different parts are condemning it, calling it man-made disaster even, the United States seems to not. And here's why we're saying that. At the United Nations Security Council, 14 out of 15 members, all except the United States, declared the famine in Gaza a man-made crisis. In fact, they reminded that starvation as a weapon of war is banned under international humanitarian law. They demanded the famine in Gaza must be stopped immediately. And just to put things into context here, 514,000 people, that's nearly a quarter of Gaza's population, already suffering through famine. By September, that number could rise to 641,000. Nearly 1.5 million people facing crisis levels of food insecurity. At least 132,000 children are projected to suffer from acute malnutrition between now and June next year. These figures come from the UN-backed Integrated Food Security Phase Classification Report. It is the world's most trusted authority on famine. And in a joint statement, UNSC members cited the IPC's figure calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire, release of all hostages, unrestricted aid into Gaza, and for Israel to lift all the blockades on humanitarian supplies. But Israel has dismissed the report as false and biased, claiming the IPC relied on partial data from Hamas and ignored the recent food deliveries. The US-backed Israel's position. Its acting ambassador to the UN, in fact, questioned the credibility and integrity of the IPC report, saying it does not pass the test on either. Meanwhile, Gaza continues to burn. Have a look at these images. They are fresh from today itself, showing Israeli tanks and troops amassing near Gaza's border. As plumes of smoke rise in the distance, Israeli airstrikes pounded the eastern and northern outskirts of Gaza City. Israel says its forces have returned to Jabalia to dismantle more Hamas tunnels and expand the combat operations. It's part of Israel's larger plan, basically, to take full control of Gaza City, which Israel has described as Hamas's last bastion. Ceasefire talks, meanwhile, mediated by Egypt and Qatar, remain stalled. Even though Hamas has accepted the latest proposal, the group says Israel's renewed offensive proves it is not serious about peace. According to Gaza's Civil Defense Agency, Israeli strikes killed at least 38 people on Wednesday, 16 of them in Gaza City. And so, as the war drags on, Washington also is quietly planning for Gaza's future. On Wednesday, U.S. President Donald Trump hosted a White House meeting on post-war Gaza. He was reportedly joined by former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. What was discussed? It's not clear, but earlier this year, Trump had stunned the world by suggesting that the U.S. should take control of Gaza, clear out its inhabitants, and redevelop it as a seaside real estate. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, meanwhile, praised that idea, prompting global outrage. For now, what is clear is this. In its 2 years of war in Gaza, Israel's offensive has already claimed at least 62,895 Palestinian lives, most of them civilians. And without urgent action, the famine there will take even more lives.